All right, welcome back, everyone. It is LaughNgamez here. I'm back with another Starcraft 2 1 versus 1 replay cast, and let me tell you, this time it is not the usual. Today we've got ourselves a match that's actually a very special one because DeepMind, the company that just makes AlphaStar, just released a ton of replays involving AlphaStar. So, you guessed it, we're going to be casting AlphaStar, and he's going to be taking on a Grandmaster level Protoss player. AlphaStar, the DeepMind, the robot, is going to be taking on... Yeah, he's taking on a GM Protoss player while playing Terran. And so, we've got ourselves a PvT. Oh my gosh, the Protoss is actually going to be cannon rushing AlphaStar. Jesus Christ, poor. Okay, alright. Let's see how this one's going to work on out. I just booted up the first AlphaStar replay that I thought of. I was just like, alright, whatever, let's see how this is going to play on out. And so far, we've got a probe just dawdling on in. This guy is just going about his day on ladder, and he just happens to be cannon rushing AlphaStar. Unfortunately, the names are redacted, so we don't actually know who this cheesy guy is. But yes, it's the human that's cheesing, of course. The robot not doing that. So all of a sudden, we've got AlphaStar. SCV's kind of running all over. Is going to be trying to deal with this cannon rush here, and it's not looking too hot here so far. The AI is going to start focusing down this one pylon, but there's a cannon about to finish on up here, so it's got a lot of SCVs just all over the place, and yeah, this cannon is about to finish on up. Two SCVs are attacking the cannon, doing the best that they can. The Marine is about to pop on out and get in range of the cannon, but the GM player here focuses down the Marine, as you should do in a good cannon rush. I mean, the SCVs... A lot of them have died so far, but they are going to be able to get down that cannon. SCVs are getting on top of this other cannon. I mean, the SCVs are kind of just doing their own thing. They seem to just not really have a high priority here, but it is getting all the cannons down so far. So I think AlphaStar, despite not mining at all for like the past minute, is actually going to shut down this cannon rush, which is pretty impressive. I honestly thought that this thing was going to die, but yeah, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Europe taking on AlphaStar. This is a Grandmaster player from the European server, and he's a cheesy guy apparently. So whoever it was that decided to cheese AlphaStar, show yourself. Who are you? Of course the one game I boot on up opens up with a cannon rush. So I didn't have a lot of time to go into a spiel of who AlphaStar or what AlphaStar is, for those of you unaware. It's basically like a super deep mind learning program, so like artificial intelligence. And it's learning to play Starcraft 2, or it has learned to play Starcraft 2, as it has taken on GM players already. But yeah, I just booted up. I just saw these replays were released just like an hour ago. I booted up the first replay I could see, and this is what we get. This is what we get when we have AlphaStar taking on a GM player, apparently. So, interestingly enough, it's the human that's being the weirder one, not the robot. AlphaStar was just trying to go about his day, and then he gets cannon rushed. So we take a look here. AlphaStar has made a Reaper. It's going to be looking around for, I guess, anything. Maybe heading towards its opponent's base. The Protoss has actually gone for a cannon at the front, but there is a cliff here, so the Reaper could jump up into the main base of the Protoss. And if AlphaStar starts microing this Reaper with superhuman micro, this could be bad for the Protoss. The Zealot, though, is going to start chasing the Reaper. Reaper moves on in, tosses a grenade. It actually focuses down that one probe very, very good. AlphaStar's Reaper micro, unsurprisingly, seems to be pretty good as it picks off the one probe. Another Reaper being made from the Terran is really interesting. Then a bunker. Wait, two bunkers at the front. Okay, AlphaStar, a little bit spooked after getting cannon rushed, is building a second bunker, getting up a factory, so one basing it versus this Terran. I'm pretty sure AlphaStar, while it has probably dealt with some crazy stuff, I don't know if it's ever been cannon rushed by a GM, so he's going to try and get on in here with his Reaper. It backs on out, though, but it dies to the Adept Shade, so nice move there from the Protoss player, actually able to pick off that Reaper, but I guess that's why AlphaStar made two. He's like, yes, my first Reaper always dies, so the answer to that is to build a second. Now we see the Protoss player is moving across the map with two Adepts. Keep in mind, this is one of the least standard games that you could possibly find involving this DeepMind program, so I'm definitely going to be casting more after this. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, if you are hyped for AlphaStar and more AlphaStar casts, make sure to press that like button. We'll see how this one's going to go. The Reaper, now that the 2 Adepts have moved out, is going to run on in there. It's going to see that there's an upgrade researching at the Twilight Council. It sees there's a Robo, and it sees there's a Zealot chasing it, so he's going to micro that away. Meanwhile, the Protoss player just getting up his own Expo. The Terran has yet to expand. And the 2 Adepts still just heading on home. He's like, oh, the Terran, or the actual human, was like, huh, there's no expansion. I guess I should head on home. We take a look here. The Protoss is gonna lift up 2 Adepts, getting Resonating Glaives on the way, warping in another 2 Adepts. So a bit of an interesting play versus a Terran. In theory, AlphaStar should be able to hold this, but I have no idea how it reacts to Adepts, seeing as how it hasn't even gone for a solid wall off at the top of its ramp. 2 siege tanks getting set on up. Barracks is gonna move on over to this tech lab, and it's making a cloaked Banshee. Oh, the missile turret that it randomly built is gonna help it deal with these 2 Adepts. 2 Marines gonna be chasing these Adepts. Good micro from the Terran, or from the human player. Gonna be able to, actually save one of those Adepts, but then loses it. AlphaStar trying to get that Prism. Pretty important to kill those, so it definitely knows how to do that. And I feel like this cast, I've just been like sprinting at how quickly that got started. Trying to do my usual intros, mention that we're casting a high-level AI game, and then we get into this just crazy Warp Prism stuff. I'm like, oh my gosh. Yeah, but ladies and gentlemen, if you're enjoying this and you want to see more AlphaStar casts, you happen to be new to the channel, press that subscribe button. And of course, let's try and break 20 likes on this video for an AlphaStar cast. We're still just waiting to see what's going to happen next. I mean, the Protoss has expanded. AlphaStar is just throwing up an expansion, so it's, from what we've seen, it seems to be okay not expanding very quickly. And now it's getting its Banshee on in here. It doesn't actually have Cloak for it just yet. It will in a second. There isn't a cannon in the main base, but there is a shield battery, so these probes should be safe. Shield battery gonna heal that on up. AlphaStar's like, ah, darn it. And with 2 observers out, I think this Banshee could be in trouble, so not a lot of damage getting done by AlphaStar. And it does indeed lose that Banshee. A second Banshee is moving across the map. We'll see if the AI is like, ah, that didn't work the first time, I gotta try again. And it looks like that's exactly what it's thinking as it's building more Banshees. It's getting Stim, and interestingly enough... Oh, by the way, Warp Prism totally eats a Widow Mine. Interestingly enough, AlphaStar is going for +1 armor instead of +1 attack for its bio. Now that maybe that's something to think about if you just happen to be playing StarCraft 2. AlphaStar apparently says, right, defense is better than offense, which I can believe, seeing as how it built 2 bunkers, it's building up siege tanks and everything. Maybe that says something about how it dies to cheese a lot or whatever. The Terran player is trying to chase, or this Protoss player, I don't know why I keep saying Terran, is trying to chase down the Terran's Banshee. I usually just refer to like the Terran player or the Protoss player. Not usually the human or the AI. Banshee for AlphaStar is going to get caught. Blink is done, and there's an observer out, so I'm willing to bet that this Banshee is going to die, but no, it's actually escaping. This observer is trying to chase down the Banshee. AlphaStar is just continuously building Banshees non-stop here. This is really, really bizarre. I'm going to say it. Really, really bizarre. Banshee is now going to move on into the natural of the Protoss. It actually managed to sneak its way on in here, so it's actually going to begin harassing these probes, but it will die pretty quickly after. Meanwhile, a third base going on up here for the Protoss player. Meanwhile, AlphaStar, in all of his glory, is building another bunker, building a bit of a wonky wall, and still making Banshees. Now getting up combat shield. It got +1 armor, decided it doesn't need +1 attack, but oh, look at this! AlphaStar here is going for the hidden expo in a Protoss versus Terran. What? Oh my god, AlphaStar is actually just a genius. Meanwhile, the Protoss player is just doing what you really should, I feel. It's getting up a Templar Archive, it's getting up more, or he's getting up more upgrades. Double forges on the way, so the upgrades are really going to be superior here for the Protoss. Meanwhile, this Terran robot has another Banshee out. It's kind of snuck its way towards the third base, but it's just chilling, it would seem. I'm not sure what it's doing with this Banshee. AlphaStar, all the while, is just building up a ton of Marines here. Zealots on the way. Photon cannon on the way here. And then we've got +1 on the way for the Terran finally, but it's going to be behind a fair few upgrades here, as it's already going to be +1 armor. It's going to be 1-1 for the Terran versus 3-1 for the Protoss. And you guys do the math. Okay, this is a cool move from AlphaStar. It's sending a Banshee into every base, or into at least 2 of the bases of the Protoss, so going for a bit of multi-prong harassment, but it doesn't seem to understand that it can attack the probes outside the shield battery. There we go, it gets 1. The Protoss, though, not reacting to this, interestingly enough. AlphaStar going to be working away on these probes. It's going to get 1. It's going to get another. So it's actually getting worker kills here. And the Protoss hasn't gone up to that many workers yet. So this is a nice move. Now, unfortunately for AlphaStar, its hidden third command center has been spotted. It's just like, all right, I got this base up. The Protoss, though, is busy going for an attack. Looks like the Banshee getting a little bit of damage done. It's gotten up to 6 kills. Not bad. AlphaStar's micro has been pretty good. Meanwhile, another Banshee, I think it's spotted the third base, so AlphaStar getting off some pretty sick harassment, but also going to be on the receiving end of it here. Adepts are into the Terran's base. The Protoss player is also shutting down AlphaStar's hidden third base, which is definitely no longer hidden. But oh, look at this. This is so many Marines here for AlphaStar. The Protoss just instantly recalls a very good move, I feel, because this is actually just a whack load of bio, which could really, really cause a hurting for the Protoss. AlphaStar just knows how to stim and make Marines, which is pretty good when you play Terran. Its kiting back is pretty good so far. It looks like it shut down the harassment in its main base, and now it also scans to pick off the Observer. Now, unfortunately for AlphaStar, it doesn't know how to build medivacs, it would seem, so its Marines are very, very injured as they're overstimmed. The third base is under fire. It hasn't evacuated that. And now we take a look here. AlphaStar's Marines, without medivacs to heal them, they've really got 1 more stim in them, and then it is lights out. It's not bringing any oh my god. AlphaStar has just made about a bajillion siege tanks. Lost its third base, but it's going to try and shut down its opponent's economy as it builds 2 more Banshees. What even reality is this? AlphaStar just keeps building. It's up to 9 tanks. Just look at this. Oh, maybe AlphaStar is actually a Villostar here, as it is sitting on 2 bases, going up to 10 siege tanks. Oh my gosh, I'm loving this robot here. 10 siege tanks. There's 8 in the natural, 1 in the main. And it's just like, oh my. It's going for a third base right by the Protoss's main. Now it's actually coming on in with 2 Banshees, so it knows that 2 Banshees beats the shield battery, but interestingly enough, AlphaStar starts targeting the Protoss Nexus, which is really odd with these 2 Banshees. The 2 Banshees gonna try and get away from these stalkers, which are looking to hunt him down. A third Banshee, though, is moving out. It's gonna find probes here. There's a cannon starting at the natural base, but it's not done yet, so this Banshee's gonna get on in. It's gonna start working away in probes, but the shield batteries they just keep these probes pretty much endlessly alive. The Banshee now decides to start attacking the cannon, so they really enjoy attacking static defense. This Banshee moves towards the third base, which is actually exposed, but oh, it's gonna fly into the cannon. Good micro there. Man, we were just watching AlphaStar micro its Banshees for days here. And I for one, am okay with this. It's actually keeping up with production. It's now getting out a Raven as it's getting up its third base. It's like, right, Protoss ain't going to expect this base that's right next to him. What an absolutely wacky game here from AlphaStar. The Banshee going to go down because the Protoss, after getting harassed by the 9th Banshee, says, right, I guess I'm going to adapt a little bit like the AI and build a Phoenix, which I think is a good move. But oh my gosh, look at all these siege tanks for AlphaStar. This is actually ridiculous. It's going to start sieging its tanks now. How good is it at shuffling its tanks forward? Because this army can definitely squash what the Protoss has, but if the tanks are sieged, it will just be wrecked. The tanks are sieging up. The Protoss is actually going for it, but a lot of the tanks are sieged up. However, there's Psystorm just crushing all the Marines. The tanks doing what they can. They're focusing down pretty much everything. Wait a second, is AlphaStar going to win this fight? It looks like the answer is a no. But it was close. Although, we take a look here. Zealots into the main base. Fortunately, the Zealots can't shoot up, so when you're still making Banshees, it's pretty good for you. In all seriousness, this is not looking too good for AlphaStar, ladies and gentlemen. Our robotic hero not having a good time. It actually shuts down the Warp Prism, which is nice for it, but it's still 2-base versus a 4-base Protoss. And after, it's probably going to lose its main orbital command, which definitely hurts. And on that note, I think our Terran player friend is pretty well dead. The third base that has been hidden actually gets spotted, unfortunately for AlphaStar. It doesn't really understand the concept that you're not supposed to rally SCVs to a hidden base. Otherwise, it'll just get found because your opponent will run into one of the SCVs and put 2 and 2 together. We're 16 minutes into the game, and AlphaStar says, right, it's time to build a Medivac. I mean, you gotta give it to AlphaStar for trying. That was a pretty close engagement versus the Protoss. If he had all of his tanks sieged up, maybe it would have gone his way. But, well done by the Protoss. AlphaStar, it had its base found, so it's like, right, I'm gonna float it over, one to the right. Wait, why is this Stalker still following me? I'm gonna move out. SCVs are transferring for AlphaStar, but his income is not very good. And yes, I did just assume the robot's gender. Third base just floating on, floating on, floating. Okay, let's take a look. Tempest on the way for the Grandmaster player, maybe realizing that he's playing versus AlphaStar and is like, right, I need an air unit or something. And now we take a look. AlphaStar is just with his handful of Marines. Almost had his command center here, but really wants to be in that top right corner. Stalkers start shooting it, so the command center is like, alright, stay the course. AlphaStar, I think, is going to try and chase down the Stalker. There's a lot of SCVs moving out. Are the SCVs going to attack it? The command center lands. And, okay, this is one wacky game of Starcraft 2. Yeah. I'm really unsure of what to make of this. Like, AlphaStar it's given it the good old college try, but unfortunately they didn't teach the robot how to GG. Now it's moving on in with stimmed Marines. It's trying to catch the Stalkers. Unfortunately, that is just a portion of the Protoss army. So I think we're seeing a pretty dead AlphaStar here. So ladies and gentlemen, on this note, if you want to see more AlphaStar games, press that like button. If we hit a good amount of likes, I'll definitely do another. Let's try and say 20 likes for more AlphaStar games. But AlphaStar, I guess just the way it gets its wins, it's kind of weird. I mean, it has close games. Like, it had a chance to win this game, even though the way it played, to my eyes, seemed really non-optimal. Now we see AlphaStar is like, I can't engage that Protoss, so it's just going to run away. It's moving with its bio. The third base, though, under fire. SCV is going to die repairing the command center, whereas the Protoss is now into the main base. AlphaStar built a Liberator, but there's already Tempest out. It's going to start floating its factory away, and I think we're just looking at a dead AlphaStar. Is it going to go for an attack, though? It saved its third base. It's getting its SCVs mining. It's all good. It's all good, AlphaStar says. And now we're going to see if it's going to go for one last hurrah. AlphaStar, the main base is dying, but it still thinks it's got a chance in this game. It's going to move on in. It stims the Marines. Here we go. The Marines, they're going to engage the cannon. The cannon dies. It's now picking off the assimilator. Probes are starting to fall. The damage it's getting done is absolutely massive. And it's losing everything in its main base. But it's still giving it a go. It loses the single Medivac that AlphaStar built this game dies. The Marines are trying to avoid the Psystorm, but it is unavoidable. And with that, AlphaStar down to 0 army units. It decides to build another command center. It says, right, I just lost 2, and AlphaStar taps out with no GG. Ladies and gentlemen, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to press that like button. Of course, If you're new to the channel and you enjoyed this commentary, I also commentate a lot of normal StarCraft 2 games. So yeah, press that like button. And yeah, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.